Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, the title is Working Two Jobs and Still Do Not Have Enough Money. Now, this is my personal experience, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you guys a little story time in this video and share my experience with this. Now, I decided at one point in my career, if everyone doesn't know, I am a nurse. Um, I haven't had to work in the nursing field for about 5 years now. I have my own company, but with this story time, I'm going to share with you how it worked out for me. Now, I decided that I was going to work two jobs and I was going to get out of debt. I decided that I did not want to be in debt anymore and that I'm going to work night and day. If I only sleep 3 and 4 hours a day, that's fine with me, because if I got to work to make this happen, then I'm going to do it. And at this point, I didn't have a vehicle. I had just lost my vehicle. I think it stopped working for some reason, or I didn't want to put the money into it and just let it sit. I can't remember which one it was at the time, but I didn't have a vehicle. And therefore, one of the job that I had at the time was in the suburban areas of Michigan where I reside, and therefore I couldn't get there. It was way out in the suburbs where there was no bus route, so I had no job at this point. But my new plan was I'm going to get two jobs, and this will never happen to me again. Okay, so let's start this. I started looking in the Career Builder, whatever the platform was at the time. I believe it was Career Builder, and to look for a job. And I landed one. Now, the reason why I picked the one that I picked, because this nursing facility was, believe it or not, right next door to another facility. So I said, wow, when I went to that interview and landed it, of course, I picked, I believe it was the afternoon shift. I'm pretty sure it was the afternoon shift. So she said I could start, I think I was going to be starting orientation within a couple of days or two. So I said, okay, now I got this one. And I went out the door. I was so happy. And I went and I looked around in the area and I'm like, there's another facility. And guys, it was within 20 feet. I may be underestimating, but it was within a block or two of that facility that I just left from and just got the job from. So I said, there's my second job. So I went in there and I asked the human resources, are you hiring? Are you looking for nurses? And she said, of course, as usual, absolutely. You know, what are you looking for? So she gave me an immediate interview. And I said, well, I could either work the day shift, which would have been 7 to 3, and I could turn around and do the 3 to 11 shift that I had just got hired for, or I could go on the back end and I could work the 11 to 7 shift, 11 to 7:30, I think, 11 to 7:30 or 11 to 7 shift with my 3 to 11. So I asked her and she said, well, we need help on both shifts, so it's up to you. And I asked what was the pay, and the pay was $2.50 more, maybe $2.75 more on the night shift. So I said, well, I'm on a mission. I'm getting ready to make this happen. So I took the night side. And she said, great. So a couple of days, I started my orientation on the first shift, which was an afternoon. And then she wanted me to start the second one on the 11 to 7 shift orientation at the same time. But I told her, I made up some story because of course I can't be in two places at once. So I said, well, can I start orientating next week or two? And she said, sure. So long story short, I have landed my two jobs and I am working them both. I go in at 3. I leave that shift. I count with the outgoing nurse. With the oncoming nurse, and I leave. It's cold as winter. I don't have a car, remember, and so I walk those 1 or 2 blocks to the next job, which was an 11 to 7. I'm not sleeping. I'm barely eating, but I got it done. I did them both. I'm trying to pay down bills. Guys, I was exhausted. I was working less than 3. I was sleeping less than 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. My kids were small, and I paid down a few bills, but I never got out of debt. That was my goal, to get out of debt. Guys, we were not built to work like that. The mentality of the problem that I experienced was, you have to change your mindset. You have to spend less. You have to get out of debt on your own merit of understanding how money works. So the first thing I realized when that experiment did not work, I didn't get any further than basically where I started. Like I said, I paid on a few things. I got myself in a vehicle, but the same debt was still there, and I felt like all that suffering and working, it didn't work. But I did learn some things, and that's why I want to share this video with you. What I learned was, let me look at my notes, make sure I don't forget anything to tell you what I learned here. Okay, even though I worked like that, it didn't work. It doesn't work. And I bet you some of you guys have tried it and you can attest it doesn't work. It may help out a few things, but in the end, it doesn't work. Okay? Your dollars are like soldiers. You need to put them to work for you to go out and make more soldiers so that you can build your army of wealth. That's the only way it works. You have to start investing. You have to take those dollars that you spend at Starbucks to get those coffees, to work those shifts. If you like Starbucks, get you some Starbucks stock. If you like to wear Nike, everything Nike, get you some Nike stock. And therefore, your soldiers go to work for you. And that's the lesson I learned that they don't tell us. Hard work isn't necessarily the answer. Investing your money does. And if you've been watching my videos, we've been talking about starting investing and starting to save to invest. So if you want to join that journey with us, please make your comments below, like and subscribe while we take that journey together. So I hope this was some value to you, if any one of you thinking about doing something so crazy as I did. And guys, I did that for like, I want to say almost a year, and it didn't work. But anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.